So now with the addition of the Batman, I am now going to rank every live-action Batman movie. Spoilers ahead for everything Batman, and with that all out of the way.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
Coming in number 9, I have Batman and Robin. I could go down the list of reasons why I don't like this movie, but that would just be repeating other people's points that I am sure you've heard 1,000 times by now. I would say I did like Chris O'Donnell as Robin in this movie, which I'm not sure if many people feel that way. I also liked him in Batman and Robin too. But I never cared for the Batnips. That never really bothered me. Everything else of like how stupid the Mr. Freeze is and the cringe that Poison Ivy does in this movie, that's the stuff that I don't like. Yeah, it's always like the other stuff other than the Batnips and like other whatever people complain about. But yeah, this movie is one of the worst superhero movies ever, if not the worst. George Clooney is also a really bad Batman, and yeah, I really don't like this crap. Let's move on. Coming at number 8, I have Batman the movie. Now, in terms of enjoyment, I do enjoy this movie much more than Batman and Robin. I have to say this movie is just really fun, and I can appreciate for what it is, but I just get a little bored when watching this, and it's okay. I mean, very campy, and there's stuff to enjoy, but I just get bored. With that being said, I would rather watch this movie 10 times in a row than watch one half of Batman and Robin, because that's just a cringe fest of 2.5 hours or however long it is. I don't care. I hate that movie. I never liked it as a kid. I don't like it now. It's horrible. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, Batman and Robin is just the worst, but Batman the movie is okay for what it is, and it was cool to see all the villains team up against Batman, so there's that too. Coming in number 7, I have Batman Forever. I do have a lot of nostalgia for this movie, so my opinion might be a bit blinded when I say that this movie is just okay. I do not think it was really that bad. I enjoy some parts in this movie, and I really like the music in this film, even more than the Burton films. I'm sure that's a hot take, but something about the score feels more like Batman to me than the score from the Burton films. I don't know, Batman Forever has a good score. Now, the villains are terrible, like what horrible adaptations of Two-Face in The Riddler, but Batman was fine in this movie. I think Val Kilmer he's just alright. Not a great Batman, not a great Bruce Wayne, but he's alright for what he was. I really liked Chris O'Donnell as Robin, like I said in my Batman and Robin part, but yeah, I liked him as Robin. I don't know why, but I always felt he was like a good Robin in the Schumacher films, and I would have liked to see him paired with Michael Keaton, to be honest with you, instead of Marlon Wayans, which that was originally who Tim Burton was going to cast. He was going to cast Marlon Wayans as Robin. I don't know about that. Also, Nicole Kidman is in this movie, and she was entertaining, to say the least. So yeah, it was just an okay movie. Now, this movie is a humongous step down from the Burton films, but I do enjoy this movie quite a bit, and that could be from nostalgia, because as a kid, I'd always watch this movie along with Batman 89 and Batman Returns. So I feel this film has some good things and some really bad things, but overall, not bad, and I feel it's just an okay film. Coming in number 6, I have Batman Returns. Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about this film is it's weird. Like, really weird. The Penguin was weird in this movie, as he's basically a literal penguin. Catwoman was really over the top and weird in this movie because she's basically a cat and gets brought back to life by cats. Just a whole lot of weird going on in this movie, but I do find it to be quite enjoyable. Michael Keaton is a good Batman, as always. He was the best part in this movie, and everything that he does, I liked all of it. There's many different messages and themes going on in this movie, which, you know, some of it worked and some of it didn't, but I like this movie, and it's a solid sequel to Batman 89. Coming at number 5, I have Batman Begins. Honestly, I find this movie to be super overrated. Like, people rate this right up there with The Dark Knight. I'm like, hold up, no way. I mean, it's your opinion if you feel that way, but I honestly, I don't, and I don't see why this movie's super hyped, but, you know, people feel that way, I guess. But yeah, this is a good movie. I enjoyed it. Ra's al Ghul was good, and seeing Bruce train with the League of Shadows was the best part about this movie. But everything after the training montage and after he goes to Gotham, and it was just good and not great. I think the great parts in this movie was all the stuff before he becomes Batman, and then when he becomes Batman, the movie just becomes very generic and good, you know. Scarecrow was forgettable in this movie, and Batman's voice was terrible. I don't know why his voice sounded so weird in this movie. It sounded so bad compared to The Dark Knight and to The Dark Knight Rises. Also, the editing looked bad at times. Like, I don't know, it looked really weird and shaky and weird cuts. And, yeah, I think it was an artistic choice by Nolan, which I don't see much in The Dark Knight. Maybe I'm wrong. I just really noticed it in this movie. But, yeah, I just remember watching some, like, weird editing cuts as he's fighting bad guys, and it was just weird. I did not like it at all. This movie is good, but not great, so that's why it's at number 5. Coming at number 4, I have Batman 89. Now we're getting to the Batman movies that I love. And I really love this movie. The atmosphere of Gotham, so many iconic moments, and a solid Batman and Joker story. Just so many great things about this movie. I also love the dark tone that Tim Burton brings into this movie, and he balanced making a Batman movie while adding his own unique style to things. Unfortunately, with his sequel, he made more of a Tim Burton movie instead of a Batman movie, which made everything super weird. But in Batman 89, he nails the tone and balanced the weird elements of the story with the Batman elements. Batman 89 is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, and it comes in at the 4th spot on this list. Okay, so now the next 3 Batman movies are so close in terms of how much I love them, and honestly, the number 2 and 3 spot could be switched. All 3 movies are neck and neck. Coming in number 3, I have The Dark Knight Rises. This was such an epic finale to the Dark Knight trilogy. I felt the trilogy went out with a bang. The movie really raised the stakes, and I was satisfied with the epic conclusion in this movie. Yet the best we have seen of Batman in this whole entire trilogy. I think he had like the best stuff to do, and he goes through like a whole cinematic journey. Also, Bane was very terrifying, and I love the performance that Hardy gave in this film. Even though it's a hit or miss for some people, I feel Bane was almost as good as Heath Ledger's Joker in terms of all-time Batman villains on the big screen. Anne Hathaway, I feel, is the best Catwoman we ever had, and she played the role almost perfectly. She wasn't super over the top, unlike Michelle Pfeiffer, and she did the role justice. I like the addition of Blake in this movie as well, who also became Robin at the end of the film. I wish we got spin-offs with him, but maybe one day we will see him again. I feel this movie really tied up all loose ends, like Gordon finding out Bruce was Batman, which was an awesome moment, and I've been waiting for that moment ever since Batman Begins. Like I said, I love the film, and it's a great finale to an amazing trilogy. And also I would like to say the one thing I did not like was the fact that Alfred just abandons Bruce. But other than that, I love this film. Coming in number 2, I have The Batman, the newest entry into the long list of Batman movies, and Matt Reeves puts his take on his interpretation of Batman, and it was really good. I really loved this film. I think it met all of my expectations. It brought the detectiveness into Batman that's been lacking in almost every single version of Batman we've seen. And recently, Batman was turned into the Punisher by Zack Snyder, and now Matt Reeves brings Batman back to his roots. I feel like this is what Batman was meant to be. The only thing I didn't like was Bruce Wayne. I didn't like his interpretation of Bruce Wayne. I think eventually he'll become the playboy $1 million kid personality, because that I feel like that's an important part for the character to have. But other than that, I liked a lot of what Matt Reeves did here. The Riddler is also another amazing villain, up there with Heath Ledger and Bane, in my opinion. yeah, and I can't wait to see what he does with the sequel, because this film sets up, I feel like it's going to be an amazing trilogy. This is just the beginning, and it's already, in my opinion, better than The Dark Knight Rises. I think the sequel to The Batman could be better than The Dark Knight. I'm just saying, but yeah, this was such a great film. Love the detective mystery going on in this movie, and it kept me at the edge of my seat at all times. A little too long. I think it could have been cut down by 15 minutes or so. But yeah, love this film. Catwoman was good in this too. But yeah, coming in number 2, I have The Batman, and it's great. Coming in number 1, I have The Dark Knight. Where do I even start with this film? You have Heath Ledger's Joker. You have so many different messages in this movie and themes going on, and so many powerful scenes in this film. You have stuff with the Dark Knight. It pulls you into many different directions. This film it's such a smooth paced film, and yes, I get that it's not comic book accurate in many aspects, but in many aspects it is, because it does have that whole stuff about Batman, no killing rule. It brings in like a lot of what the character is great. I still really love this film, and many people are now calling it overrated. I don't get how people are doing this now. Like, what's overrated about this movie? I don't understand. I still really love this film. I remember seeing this film in theaters and being blown away by it as I think I was 6 years old. As a 6-year-old kid, I was blown away by this film, seeing it in theaters, and I just remember like so many cool things. And I love movies where like the villain makes the hero choose between two things. And the Joker in this movie had Batman choose between saving Harvey and saving Rachel, and Batman was gonna go save Rachel, but turns out Joker switched the location, so he ended up saving Harvey, which ended up turning him into Two-Face. And at the end of the day, the Joker did kind of win. And it was kind of shocking at the time, just watching the whole movie. And also, I really liked that Gotham was kind of like a character as well, because Joker made the people of Gotham have to choose between the two boats, and one of them had to sacrifice the other. And knowing the Joker, whoever blew up the other boat was probably blowing up their own boat, because knowing the Joker, he's full of chaos, and I honestly could see him switching up the bombs like that. But yeah, just like I was saying, such a great film, and I'm sure the Batman sequel could beat it out. But for right now, I just enjoy The Dark Knight more than the Batman, and I think right now The Dark Knight is the best Batman film, in my opinion. So yeah, now we have 9 Batman films. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Like, I can't believe we have 9, and so many different versions of the character, so many different takes, and I'm sure we're gonna get so many different versions of the character of Batman. And we also have Ben Affleck's movie too. I know we don't. I'm not putting that on my list because he was in team up movies. I was only putting like Batman singular. I did wish we did get to see his movie. Like, we just got concept art not too long ago about like what he looked like and how Deathstroke was going to be in it. I wish we get a comic about that. I would have liked to see what Ben Affleck would have done with his film. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad we got Matt Reeves, the Batman, that's for sure. And it's to me, it's the second best Batman movie of all time, and I can't wait to see the sequel. And I have no doubt that the sequel will be amazing, and I think it could possibly be better than The Dark Knight based off how this first movie set up the rest of the set up this new Batman world. And I'm excited to see what comes next from Matt Reeves, the Batman.